Hi, and welcome to Living Hypnotically. I am Erica Flint, and Living Hypnotically is where we explore the application and benefits of hypnosis with professional hypnotists. And today, I am so excited we have Barry Small with us today. And Barry Small has been helping a lot of people stop smoking, in addition to other things. But today, we are going to learn about Barry and how he's helping so many people stop smoking with hypnosis. Barry, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here with you today.
Yeah, wonderful. And smoking is a problem, isn't it?
It is. It is a big problem today.
Yeah, there's still a lot of people who are smoking. We've got people who are vaping. We've got folks who are using smokeless tobacco. We've got all sorts of new products that are causing problems, while some folks don't want anything to do with cigarettes, which kind of seems like a problem in and of itself. Let's start with you, Barry. I think understanding how you became a hypnotist is very interesting. It's usually not something that we decide to become a hypnotist like when we're little or something like that. So can you tell us, why did you decide to become a hypnotist? How did that happen? What's your origin story?
Quite frankly, it was tied to smoking. It was time for me to quit smoking, and I've always leaned towards alternative type treatment and stuff. And
Okay.
my friends was successful, and so that's how I ended up here.
So your friend was successful stopping smoking with hypnosis, and then you became a hypnotist? You decided, I'm not just going to stop smoking. I'm going to go learn how to be a hypnotist. Right?
Kind of. I got in touch with the hypnotist, and through the process, I just got really interested in how it worked. And the next thing I knew, I was looking up schools, and then I was in school.
Yeah, it is fascinating, isn't it? There's never ending curiosity and fascination about what's going on up here. Can you share a client story with us about, let's dive into some of the good news for our listeners out there, because really what we want to do is help people understand that hypnosis is accessible to everyone. Everyone can do it if you'd like to. And so if you're struggling with anything, and today we're talking about smoking, so let's give them the good news. Share a client story.
So I just finished up with a client, a businessman, sole proprietor. He owns his own business, pressure smoker, if you will. When everything's coming down on him, the cigarettes just, and he'd been a smoker for 30 some years. And one day he had to go in. The doctor told him, you are looking at COPD and you better stop smoking. And that night he called me, and 5 weeks later, he is no longer a smoker.
Good job.
Yeah.
What's that like to help someone make that level of a change in their life?
It's really satisfying to me because I know personally what that means and how it feels.
How did it feel for you when you stopped smoking?
It was like life started all over again. There was nothing hanging over me. There wasn't the smell anymore. But just everything started fresh again.
You didn't have kind of that leftover. We talk about with alcohol, there's a hangover, right? But there's a lot of kind of hangovers with our other habits, right? Things that are hanging around left over from that habit that don't make us feel very good.
I discovered that, and I didn't realize this, that I planned my day around cigarettes in a way. Am I getting my break times, and I'm going to have to go and get cigarettes after work, and everything was planned around that. And so there was this freedom, and it was a little hard to get used to, because all of a sudden I had time and I wasn't constrained by anything.
Wow. And what an interesting point, right? Because I think a lot of times when we help our clients get rid of something, there is a lot of free time. And part of what we get to help them do is discover, right, a whole new part of their life. So for example, right, somebody who might be drinking, they might start drinking 5, 6 o'clock, maybe even earlier, they might be drinking 10 hours a day. And if they stop drinking, there's 10 hours a day. Now they'll be sleeping better for part of that, most likely, but there's still going to be 5, 6, 7 hours in the day that they used to be drinking. And now you could start a new business. You could write a book. You could just chill out.
Yeah, for sure.
That's fantastic, Barry, that you had that experience. And I know you've shared camping as being something that you really enjoy doing. Can you share a little bit about how you being in nature really assisted you and how you might use that with your clients too? Like maybe what you might want to say to some folks out there and how helpful that can be.
Oh, I think there's kind of two sides to it. The first of it is I used to take the cigarettes camping with me, and
Mhm.
I never realized how ridiculous that was. I'm out in the fresh air and then I'm polluting myself.
Yeah.
That was so illogical. But beyond that, camping for me that's probably the spiritual side of me
Oh,
where I can connect and
right.
where there's no distractions. I take the dogs and we just get away. And
Yeah.
so that's maybe the more spiritual side of it for me.
And do you think that, because I've seen this in my clients, they're off their spiritual path to some degree, whatever that might mean. They're not in a spiritual alignment. They believe one thing, they're acting in a different way, and they aren't conscious of the fact how out of alignment they are, but that's what's making them feel so bad. So how much does this spiritual component play in your stopping smoking? And do you see that in your other clients too?
I do. And as there was a big incongruence with my spiritual upbringing and what I found myself believing. And
Right.
because of that, there was unease, and it probably contributed to the smoking and some other bad habits, frankly, along the way. And so, in resolving those issues, it made it a lot easier to take care of all of
Yeah. A lot of people are raised in an environment where they're meant to believe something about the world. Catholic keeps coming to mind. I've had so many clients who have shared with me personally that, like, I was made to believe I was born into sin. And so I was made to believe I was rotten. I've had a couple of clients say I felt rotten. I was made to believe I was like a rotten person. And the only way for me to be made whole, right, is through God. And when little ones or little people are made to believe that way from a little age, that sticks with them, right?
Oh, certainly, certainly. And a lot of my clients, when we get down to it, we find that one of the components of what's wrong is tied to the beliefs that they were raised with. Oh,
So that could be good news for anybody who wants to stop smoking. There's really good work to do. And a lot of times we say our clients come to us for one issue, like stopping smoking, the presenting issue, but there's always so much more. So they end up leaving feeling so much better in their life, just like you got a new lease on life or brand new life, however you want to talk about it, right? Yeah, good, good. So what have your clients taught you this year, Barry?
wow. It's such a privilege to have people let me into their life and to help them. And I guess in a way, it's given me some humility
Mhm.
and an appreciation that I didn't have before. Because
Yeah.
with every success, there's this pride, but at the same time, I have to remember that they did the work. I'm just the guide,
Yeah.
and every one of them is special.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's always unique challenges. There's always something real going on. There's always something that is, I understand why you were feeling so hurt and so betrayed. Betrayal is coming up in my practice a lot these days, and it's such a terrible feeling. But we can help people with that feeling, right? All right, Barry, what would you like your clients to know about hypnosis?
That it isn't. I always get the question about hypnosis. Is it like we see in TV
Right.
and everything? And I almost have to laugh, and yet I don't want them to think I'm laughing at them, because it isn't. Hypnosis is something very natural. It's something that
Mhm.
we fall into every day, and that we just use hypnosis to get past the conscious part of the brain so we can get in and do the work we need to do.
Yeah, it's normal and natural. Yeah, I love that about hypnosis. Absolutely. And how do you live hypnotically?
Meditation, self-hypnosis has been a part of my life for probably, goodness, 30 years or so, in one
Uh-huh.
form or another. And so every day, at least twice a day, beginning of the day and the end of the day, I start and end with hypnosis. Um,
Mhm.
it sets the tone for the day, and then it puts the day away.
And I know that you've used hypnosis in other areas of your own personal life too to have success, right?
Yes.
Driving for one, right?
Yes.
But there's anybody who's commuting who gets stuck in traffic who has to deal with, we are here in the Pacific Northwest. We're talking about Seattle traffic, people. We're talking about some of the worst traffic in the world. This isn't just regular bad traffic. This is extra bad traffic, right?
Yes, and I admittedly, I was probably the poster child for road rage. Um,
Mhm.
I'm very type A aggressive, have to be in front, win, hate people passing me, the whole business. And
Yeah.
so that was my kryptonite.
And then with hypnosis, you came up with a new way to look at it.
Yeah, I come from a technical background, and for me, I look at it as the states of matter, um, being solid, liquid, and gas.
Yep.
And so I would imagine my anger or whatever in traffic as a solid, and then I would melt
Yeah.
it down into a liquid and then
Nice.
evaporate it away as a gas. And then I actually
Beautiful.
took it one step forward or further, and I decided that I could utilize that energy. And so my scientific brain turned it to plasma that I can use.
For energy or whatever you want to use it for. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
I love that. I love that. Good job. Let it go. This is what I love to see in my clients. I love to see in you is when we allow the brain to play and have fun with some of these things, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
started with two or three techniques that we learned in the process of
Mhm.
going through class and everything. And I just adjusted it to where I found what worked for
Ex-
me. And
Right.
interestingly, I like it because a lot of my clients are technical people like me
Exactly.
in this area of aviation and stuff. And so it works really well for engineers.
That it's a metaphor that they can already understand. And so
Yeah,
because they can already understand it, we can start talking about things that they might not be able to understand, but they can if we explain them in that way. So I love this. So for the technical people out there, the anger might feel like it's pretty strong. It feels pretty solid, like it's right in there, isn't it? Can you feel it? Okay, where is it? All right, I want you to imagine that solid is now liquefying. It's just natural, right? To liquefy. And now it's becoming a gas and it is being naturally absorbed into the universe, which is turning it into plasma and giving it back to you energetically as something extra cool that you
yeah,
might not have been anticipating. A big mind blow, right?
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. I love it. And I know you have some other techniques. One of my favorites we were talking about earlier. You want to share one of these techniques that you use with the folks that want to stop smoking. There's a technique that you like to use with them. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my favorite technique is a backward spin. it's a mind body technique.
Yep.
I find that most of my smokers are, or I should say non-smokers, are, there's a stressor that is driving their smoking. And
Mhm.
to be successful, we have to learn how to deal with the stress. And so for almost every one of my clients, I teach backward spin to help them unwind whatever has got them tense. And I find it to be simple for them to learn and simple for them to use.
Awesome. I love that technique. We did a video on it recently, so I can put a link to that. But really, what's happening with this technique is we're asking people to notice where they feel the feeling in their body, right? So part of it is awareness. So for your listeners out there, if you want to play along, if you have any anger inside of you, notice, right? Where is it in your body? Or anxiety, where is it in your body? Where do you notice it? As you think about it, it might even get worse, right? Normally, when we think about something that makes us anxious, it might make it worse. So it might make it worse. And then the next part is to usually close your eyes and then get a handle on it, right? How's that energy moving, right? How does that feel like that energy is moving? I usually have my clients move their hands to demonstrate how that energy is moving in the body. Is that what you do, Barry?
Yeah, I have them get the body, the hand, and the mind in sync.
Yeah.
Where they feel it, how it's
Mhm.
moving.
Yep.
Create a mental picture of it. Really,
Yep.
really be that stressor so that you can.
Really be it. Nothing bad's going to happen. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to run away from these bad experiences. They will pass. And so we can sit there momentarily to get the information from them, really lean into it. So, we're feeling into that anxiety. I can feel it. I'm moving my body with it. And then what happens next?
And then we want to reverse it. Backward spin, turn that motion around and unwind it.
Unwind that energy.
Yeah.
We're basically telling the body, to some degree, I think at least, hey, thanks for giving me all this energy, but I don't really need it right now. So thank you, or thank you, but no thank you. We get the handle on it, and then we can undo it ourselves.
I think that one of the biggest things, and maybe we should have started with this, was the awareness part. Recognizing when you feel it,
So
and
important.
then the sooner you get the recognition, the sooner you control it.
Yep.
And
that's the key. We can remain in control if you catch it early enough. That's what everybody wants. They want to remain in control, not feel like they get too upset to say something they don't want to say or have to leave.
Yeah. So I tell my clients that they should, when they feel that awareness, they should be thankful. It's the body telling them something's not right and you need to pay attention, but let's get control of it.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we're in sync with it, what I call getting a handle, and then we're going to go backwards in the exact opposite direction, whatever that means to the client. And normally they have their eyes closed. This is usually pretty exciting because what's happening, I think, is we're speaking body, right? I mean, we're speaking words right now, English words right now, but we're talking about the body's consciousness and anxiety. And so if we want to talk to the body, we have to speak body, right?
Yeah.
And so we're basically getting our body in the rhythm of that movement, and we're undoing it, right? We're physically moving our body. And over time, we can use smaller and smaller movement. I'm so glad that that's works so well for a lot of my clients as well. It's an NLP technique developed by Richard Bandler many years ago, but it's just very effective. Very effective.
Yeah. I've had multiple clients come back and say, I quit smoking, or I got over this, or whatever. But what really sticks with me is the unwind technique, because I use it every single day.
Oh man, I used it for years myself, and that's what helped me be calmer in a general sense for a longer period of time. I'm normally I like to get things done. That's why I dance a lot. I call it the unwind technique because the original name backward spin just confused a lot of my clients. And so I just kind of renamed it to unwind, which I think is really great. Well, Barry, thank you so much for doing all of the work that you're doing. What else would you want to say to somebody who's out there right now thinking, man, I really want to stop smoking?
Take the step, get on the phone, get on the computer, whatever it is. You can do it. I've got dozens of people now that have done it.
Yeah. This isn't a single session wonder, right?
No, not at all. Because we all have an underlying issue that drives why we got this habit in the first place. And so, yeah, I get people call and want the one hit wonder, but at the same time, I have a lot of clients that come in that have done that, and they were successful for a month or 2 months
for a little while.
But the underlying issue was still there.
I think that's really hopeful though. So if you are out there listening or watching and you went to the hotel, you did the one night of hypnosis and you stopped for a little bit, but then it came back. If that's you, I want you to know that that means that this will definitely work for you. Worked for a little while and you got a temporary fix. So if you go see someone like Barry, he can help you with the next piece of it. And it does not have to take very long, does it? It's not a single session. We want to be realistic here, but it doesn't have to take that long either, does it?
No, not at all. Most of my clients over 5 to 6 sessions are successful.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Good.
and some even less, but the majority of them, we like to go through the full process, and it's taking out the garbage and starting over.
How can people contact you, Barry?
You can get hold of me at hiddenpathwayshypnosis.com. That's the easiest way. That takes you right to my website. Or you could get to me, my phone, 360-572-2180.
All right.
Yeah.
And where is your practice? Where in the world? We said Pacific Northwest. I'm in Bellingham. Where are you at?
I'm just south of you, about 50 miles in Arlington. And
beautiful Arlington.
Yeah, but I do work with people all over the country.
Very good. Very good. And we didn't talk about your history as a professional athlete, but I think we should at least mention it because you're a professional water skier who have been using visualization and other kind of hypnotic techniques for years, right?
Yeah, that's in a way, that's where I got into this. And actually, I was thinking about this before we started today. My first experience with hypnosis, if you will, and it was back in I think 79 or something like that.
Nice.
Was biofeedback. And I was in 8th grade, and we had a lady come in and we all laid on the floor and she hypnotized us. And it was, for me, that was the coolest thing. And then, but yes, I used it in athletics, in visualizing my competitive runs, stunts, tricks, all that stuff.
Nice.
Until I saw it in my mind, it never worked. So it was a huge component to success.
And how about visualizing being a non-smoker? Was there visualization as part of that?
Oh, certainly. And not everybody is visual, but for me, it was very powerful seeing myself camping or whatever it happened to be, not smoking, not needing any of that, not having to run to town from the campsite to get some cigarettes. That was a huge part for me, was the visualization part of it. Yeah.
And we do know that a percentage of people just aren't very visual. We do know a percentage of people prefer to get their information visually, but a lot of us still have where we see pictures in our mind. We're talking about pictures in our mind specifically, but we can always get a little bit better, or we can at least pretend people who aren't visual, who don't see pictures, they still know things. They still know
Sure.
things. So however it is that they are knowing things, we want to get better at that. So I'll end the program here with this tip, because we see this a lot, and I'll let you comment on it too, Barry. When you want to stop doing something, or when you want to make a change in your life, the visualization should always be what you're actually wanting to do. So with Barry camping, he is imagining himself staying at the campsite, not needing to leave and run away to get any cigarettes. So there's extended amounts of peace, and it's extra enjoyable. He's not getting interrupted, right? So he's imagining all of that peace. And so if you're imagining not drinking anymore, you might be imagining all of the other places you'll be going and the things that you will be doing because you're up early in the morning. So we start imagining or visualizing the new behaviors and things that we're doing as a result of not doing that activity anymore. That's what the positive expression of that starts to look like, right?
Yeah, certainly. And I'd like to add there that we all visualize differently. We see things, if you will, in our mind differently. Maybe some people hear it more than a true picture or whatever, but you're still visualizing something new. And when you change your thoughts, you change your outcome.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Barry, so much for being here today. You're just such a great example of doing great things in the world, giving back, helping people stop smoking, amongst other things that you're helping folks with. So thank you so much. I am Erica Flint, and I would like to invite you, if you don't have a copy of my book yet, to get a copy of Can You Be a Hypnotist? If you want to be a hypnotist like Barry and like me. And by the way, Barry, do you like being a hypnotist? I think I forgot to ask you that.
Yeah, I do. It's been life-changing. There's just no other way to put it. Yeah,
we get to be in hypnosis all day. We get to help
right.
people with really big problems. We get to do things that other people think are impossible or hard, and we get to do it with the power of the mind.
Yeah, people that I don't see every day they're like, you aren't the person we remembered anymore. And that's a good thing.
Yeah. Good job. Good job. I've only known the happy Barry, I think. So not the angry or underage version smoking, but anyway, thanks for all of the work that you do, Barry. And again, if you would like to become a hypnotist, make sure to grab a copy of Can You Be a Hypnotist? And we have training courses every single quarter. So make sure to check out our training program at CascadeHypnosisTraining.com. And I hope that each of you appreciate and enjoy living hypnotically. Thank you for joining us here today. And thank you for Barry Small for joining us. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Get the book. Start hypnotizing. Get the book and first hypnosis lesson free now at CanYouBeAHypnotist.com.